All right. Nuna, are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Without further ado, I'll hand over to you, Nuna. Please take the floor.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Uh, yeah, actually, I'm a bit nervous too right now, but okay. So, our topic today is mostly about education because my major was I was from major. And okay, I'll throw you one first questions and let's just get started. So I ask to everyone, where do you think education comes from? If you want to answer, please raise your hand. Anyone? Hello? Okay. Uh, okay. I'll go with Angga first.
Thank you for the opportunity. My perspective is kind of uh, different, probably, or controversial with others, because I am looking at this issue from economic perspective. So when we are talking about education, it didn't happen. It didn't appear by itself. It was created. It was established by economic conditions, especially the industrializations. So education serves the need of industries, in my opinion. For example, in the past, like in early educations in Indonesia, was created by the Dutch because the Dutch wanted to have like more abundant resources in terms of human resources to run their industries in the past. So instead of sending the people, the workers from the Europe, from the Dutch, which um, took so many budgets, so they created like educational systems here in Indonesia, like schools, like early schools. Yeah, even though it was enjoyed mostly by like um the privileged ones, like people from um you know uh those who come from like privileged family, like the feudal families or the rich people. And I think when we are comparing to this current situation, it's kind of similar as well, where the education is performed to serve the industries. Like in 2008, if I'm not mistaken, like there's like uh, economic boom in terms of mining industries in Borneo. So there's so many the popularity of mining education, mining courses increased, as I know, in the past. So yeah, that's what I think about where do where does education come from. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angga. I saw Ira raise uh, his hand. Ira, was it Ira? Okay, others, please. Anyone? Okay, if it is not, let's just continue with next question. So guys, what do you think it means to be an educated human being? Anyone? Okay, Jaja, please.
Okay. So what do you think it means to be an educated human being? So I think education is really, really important things for everyone. I think many job or professional things that the people have it will come from the education that they got it. I'm sorry about my English for the first occasion. I'm really sorry. I hope you all guys can understand what I'm saying. Okay, so education is really important for us. Even education is come from for awareness, our needs, because we really need it. Even education is started from okay. So education is not only in the certain education institution, or let's say school, college, or things like that. We learn, we study, we get educations like everywhere. I mean everywhere, and not only in the school. For example, when we are a children, when we were a child, we got educations from our mother, from our family, because the family, I'm a Muslim. In Islam we called it by Madrasatul Ula, like the first education that we got is from our family. So I think this is about the first questions. So education come from our awareness and our needs. And then for the second questions, like how it that means when people called by a human, what's that, educated human being. It means human educated human being. It means the human that has a college, and then knowing the attitude well, and then have a good quality of life, I think. Yeah, that's all. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you, Jajang, for your opinions. So now I will let Sunshine to have his opinion, please.
Okay, thank you, Nuna. I believe that the root or education can be extracted from sense of misery, being painful, from being depressed, and all this anxiety, feeling oppressed, feeling terminated, feeling marginalized. I believe that kind of emotions will bear something that can be called education. Because when we are, how to say, underestimated, there is a sense of wanting to get better. Like, because education is not literally should be interpreted as what people or common people say. I believe that getting better is something that need to be highlighted right here when it comes to education, because there is a sense of anger, want to evolve, whether it is in the short term, middle term, or long term. Okay, because on the moment we felt like we couldn't get any better, then there's no education at all right there. Okay, and when it comes to education, I also feel that uh, it is crucial to underline that being educated human being is not only feeling that we can spread something positive. It can be, how to say, especially or in small case, can be interpreted as self-satisfaction. It literally translate our satisfaction when we become better, smarter, higher than others. Being educated human being, it doesn't mean that we should be the one to, how to say, spread kindness, being most useful, bring charity to others. No, I suppose that when we can exploit others to maximize our own potential or our own benefit, that's what it means to be educated. That's what it means to be an educated person or people. Because right now, I believe that education doesn't only reach a space of discussion uh, where it only relates, like what had been stated before by previous speaker by Jajang, that our parents are the most essential part that will teach us something in the earlier stage of our life. No, we need to talk more about that education is not longer relevant to industrialization needs, whether it is still relevant or not. And we also need to discuss about how gender could bridge the inequality in education and how it proven when gender, especially female, given authority in the election process will bring more equal and fair education accessibility. I believe there are so many things to talk about education. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sunshine. Now I'll give it to Shopee. Sophie. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss, for the opportunity. I'm just gonna be quick. I think for me personally, I can consider someone as an educated person from the way they behave. I think that is the on top of point that makes us consider someone as an educated person, because the words that coming from their mouth and the way they act to others is actually the reflective from their mind, right? What they're thinking in their mind, what inside their mind, it's gonna be show clearly from the way they behave and how they talk, how they react to others. So for me personally, I think that is the answer. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Shopee. Yeah, guys. I believe I totally agree with what everyone said, that Sunshine said it education is important to make us better from yesterday and so on, and it is one of important part of life, because yeah, how to say it, because without education sometimes we need to be directed by it. So guys, how about I want, because I saw Irsa, do you have an opinion about it? Hello. Oh, okay. All right, guys. Let's just move to the next question. Will be the last for this one. Have you ever heard about freedom to learn? And what is it, if you ever heard about it? And if you never heard about it, what do you think it is? Raise your hand if you want to say something. Anyone? Maybe, how about Tasha? Hello, Tasha. Okay. Others? Irsha? Chalida? Rizky? Oh, Angga, okay.
Frankly speaking, I'm not so sure whether I've heard about this or not, but I think I kind of heard about this in one of the authors called Paulo Freire, but I'm not sure what he mentioned in the past, but I think it's close to this phrase, freedom to learn, in which students and human beings learn something from what they need, what they like, what they're passionate about. Let's say you are into music, for example. So yeah, you need to focus on that, and you need to improve your skill on that particular stuff. And when you are into like machines or social issues, for example, you can study, you can learn either in the university or outside of it, yeah, definitely you can. Yeah, it's basically learning something from what you like, what you're passionate about. But yeah, in my opinion, we need to realize that that's ideal. That ideal is hard to achieve at the moment, where everyone is forced to study and work in particular places in which the industry needs, right? That's why when we are planning to like study a particular thing, sometimes
Warning in progress.
sometimes
Sometimes
it's not
it's not
available.
available.
So yeah, I think that's the way I see it, the freedom to learn. If I may respond to the previous question as well, what do you think it means to be an educated human being? For me, it's all about being thoughtful, being more mindful, because when you've been educated enough, you know where you are in the society. So you need to like put yourself in a right place and dedicate your insights, your capabilities to what the society needs. So yeah, that's the way I see it. Thank you. I leave it there.
Okay, thank you, Angga. Yeah, so guys, yeah, like what Angga said, freedom to learn is do whatever you like. So how about you? Do you agree with that statement? Anyone? Yeah, please, Jajang.
Okay, thank you. I am totally agree with Brother Angga's opinion that students has a freedom to learn or to study everything they like. And then for these questions, I am remembering about the new system of study in Indonesia from the Minister of the Education that is called by MBKM. MBKM, Merdeka Belajar Merdeka, and then we in Islamic University, we know about Kampus Zakat, and Kampus Zakat has already conducting for fourth period till now, and it means the students has a freedom to take the study model. There are 8 study model of MBKM actually. So yeah, this is I think the implementation of the was that of the freedom of education. I think one of it. There are 8 types, and then included a lot of things like internship, and then how to say it in bahasa like PKL if I'm not mistaken, and also like joining the research with the lecturer if I'm not mistaken, or maybe like was that organizing Desa Binaan or things like that. Maybe I'm sorry, I can't remember all of it, like 8 types. And then uh back again, I totally agree with Brother Angga's opinion about it. And then maybe the implementation that has already exists in Indonesia, maybe about MBKM system, from the Ministry of Education, and more specifically in Islamic University, because I am working at right there. There is a Campus Zakat there. You can googling about it, and then I think it's also interesting. Things about education in Indonesia. Oh yeah, and also MBKM is also means that students can take the study out of the class. So they don't study in the class, they study outside. For example, if the students takes to internship on this semester, so they just what is that do that internship things, and then like 6 months in a semester, and then they performance in the institution that they are internship at. the performance will be transforming to the GPA, to the score of the each subject that related to, and then I think that is the implementation of the freedom of the education in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaja. Okay, so Jaja said that students have freedom to choose what they want to learn at school or in the university. Okay, so freedom for students to learn, explore and challenge ideas while building and sharing their opinions is the foundation of what is called academic freedom. This freedom protects students from unfair treatment by instructors based on the student's opinion and beliefs. It recognizes that student opinions are valuable and should be able to be expressed without fear or retribution by the leader of the class. At the same time, the freedom to learn obligates students to follow class assignment and master course content, even if they disagree with it. So, remember in back to 2019, Nadiem brought a new conception of the direction of our nation education. Freedom to it's called freedom to learn. However, if we explore further, Nadiem's definition of independence only recycles the old logic of education, which must be closer to the logic of market. So now I ask you, do you agree with the statement? Why and why not? Please raise your hand, anyone? Maybe Tasha, are you there? Okay. Henny? Hello, Henny.
Hello. Sorry
Okay.
for being my late in joining your Zoom meeting. Am I late?
Okay, so
Okay. Okay. For me, for this concept from our Minister and Education Nadiem, as I know that in Indonesia there are some pros and cons with this conception, but as a student, it is good because we have our own our own freedom to choose what we like to learn and what we like to study, and what's good for us, what's bad for us. It depends on the student itself. I think for the student it's okay, but for the teachers, I think it's new concept, and you know that in Indonesia the curriculum always changeable every time. Not every time, but even in every years, the curriculum is always changeable, and sometimes it's confusing for the teachers. And with this conception or with this new conception, I think for the teacher they have to learn more about the new curriculum, and they have to master or they need to know more about this. Yeah. I think there are pros and cons with this conception. That's it.
Aku
Thank you.
dapat alif
okay. Thank you, Henny. Yes, like as what we know, the curriculum is always changed. Like even right now, in high school have like 2 different curriculums in a year. Yeah, they called it as Kurikulum Merdeka, and the other one is E13.
Mhm.
So yeah, every students need to learn new style of teaching again,
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree
and so
because so,
Yeah.
I think for the teachers, I think for the teacher, it's not easy for them to what is that, to adapt with the new conception or to the new curriculum, because once curriculum it hasn't finished yet and we have to face the new curriculum. Yeah, I think for the teachers, there are a lot of homework for the teacher, because they not they don't only teach in school, but they have to make like RPP or syllabus or anything else, and they need to learn more about the new curriculum. I think, yeah, there are some pros and cons with this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Henny. How about you guys who's not from education background? How do you see the changing of curriculum that has happened like every time to time? How about Jajang?
Okay. I don't know. I think I can't say that I agree or not agree with this because I don't really understand actually. But I think about the educations about this. I think why not we take a look to the best education provider on the world. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be Finland. Maybe we can compare the education system in Indonesia and Finland. If and also, if I'm not mistaken, they have like unique study system, right? It isn't like in Indonesia that we are really defined by angka gitu, manusia angka, and then they study with a fun way, like there is no a lot of homework, and then like they for example, maybe for the students in elementary school, they are studying with picnic, and then like the score is not only about score angka, but also the opinion from the teacher, like explain to his or her parents, like what his son or what the students in the class, like he is good in A and not really good in B, or things like that. Yeah, back again, I can't say I agree or disagree with this, but yeah, why don't we take a look to the best education provider on the world, like Finland, and compare what we have in Indonesia and Finland? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jaja. Yeah, please, Angga.
I just want to ask to anybody who's able to respond to it. I was just wondering what's the reason why this conception is close to the logic of the market. I still don't get it.
Can I give an opinion about the logic of the market?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, I think as I know that the background of our minister from education and cultures is entrepreneurship. I think yeah, it's related to entrepreneurship, where the student not only learn about the subject, but they have to know about how to sell the product, how to be an entrepreneurship. Yeah, like the new curriculum, mostly at school they input or they combine with like a business or being an entrepreneurship. I think a kind of logic of the market. Am I not mistaken?
Okay, please, Angga.
So, where is the freedom in this logic? I'm just wondering. So, what does he mean by freedom to learn? If it's like it should be close to the logic of the market.
So every
Okay.
student or everyone, they have their capacity to explore or to learn more. For example, if they want to sell their product, they can what is that? Open their own business or to sell their product based on their opinion or how to make the product and how to sell the product. Yeah, not only related to business, but also for the other subject too. They have their own concept or they have the own mindset what good for them to learn or not good. They can choose it by themselves.
Okay. Thank you, Henny. Yes, please, Angga.
Okay, I get it. Thank you, Henny, for your explanation.
Yeah, it's just my opinion, but based on the host, I don't know whether it's right or not. Yeah, you can everyone can add or can give your suggestion or your opinion, but it's related to my. It's only based on my opinion as I know, because as I know that our minister is the background. The background is entrepreneurship or he's a businessman who open like yeah. I think he wants to combine yeah our curriculum to be not only where a student in Indonesia not only study more but they want to input like being an entrepreneurship where they can be yeah like yeah like being independent as a being independent person. But I don't know. I just sent to the house whether my opinion whether correct or not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Henny. Yes, Angga.
Me? Okay. Yeah, from what you've shared to us, I think it's not really a genuine freedom where we are still unconsciously directed to the market, where we actually can't choose what we would like to learn, what we would like to improve, because at the end, the market will determine what we need to do, what we need to learn, and what we need to study. Yeah, just like even here in Australia, like critical thinking, being a competitive, and so on are also taught in school. It's really, they're really emphasized in every lesson, in which yeah, you need to be critical, you need to be very competitive, but at the end it's just serving the market. Even here in my college, a lot of social science courses are being cut because because this course doesn't serve the market. So the students who are keen to study this topic, they no longer have the ability to perform it because it's not available. The university as a factory doesn't serve it. And yeah, again, by the end of the day, you need to serve the logic of the market. Yeah, I think I kind of somewhat disagree with this statement. Is saying that it's freedom, but it's unconsciously direct us to the market. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angga. Yeah, they said that it's freedom to learn, but at the end of the day, they want us to be the kind of person who they actually want us. So, guys, for you, do you have another opinion about this? About freedom to learn? How about Tom? Are you there? Tom? Okay. Anyone? If you anyone disagree with the opinion, do you think the what is it? The concept of freedom to learn by Nadim is actually in the right way. Sophie?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. How about you?
Honestly, I don't really searching much about this kind of Nadim's program, but I've heard a little bit because like some of my coworkers sometimes talk about it, and I think this idea is actually the idea itself is actually brilliant because the point that Nadim has offered to the education field, for example, no more national examination. The standard is now not to be graduated. The standard not only based on national standard, but based on the school standard. So it's fair enough because every places has different um, level by teaching their students. So I think it's fair enough the way Nadim offered this program. But the problem is, like Miss Henny said before, the implementation in the reality that our human resources hasn't ready yet, and then how the curriculum changing every time we haven't adjust with the previous curriculum, but it already changed with the new one. So it's kind of like confusing the students, both the students and the teachers, as the educators. And then related to the statement that you have put on your slide, must be closer to the logic of the market. I don't really understand this as well, but yeah, like Miss Henny said, Nadim background is entrepreneur. Of course, he will like adjusting how this program could be beneficial enough to the economic field in general. And then if you ask me if this program is effective enough or not, I think it's not really effective. The idea is great, but the implementation is quite failed. Looking at the reality that we have in our society, we haven't ready yet for this change. I think that's it, Miss. I hope this answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Sophie. Yeah, I haven't put it on my slide. But the things that you like everyone asked about closer to the logic of market is when you know we are like in our school in the at school, we like they give us the material that they the things that they want us to learn. So, but like what I said before, at the end of the day, we just like create to be someone who, how to say it, we need to follow what they have create. So it's like more and less we will be what is it? We will be you know wait a minute.
Like overlap.
Yeah. The thing is that we create to be a worker. So yeah. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Yeah, I should put it on my slides. Okay. So, but because the topic is about freedom to learn, like what Nadim said, that the concept of our education is freedom to learn. But let's see to the next slide. Yeah, if anyone remember what happened in September 2019, yes, retracing the state's effort to suppress demonstration, which were carrying progressive demands. The government forced us to shut us down, to like to not tell what we want to say. So guys, what do you think about what happened in 2019? Anyone? Okay, how about let's say Rizky? Are you there? How about Tom? Maybe Angga?
Okay. Um, okay, what I think about this, yeah, it was amazing looking at how students organized and carrying out like progressive demands, even though there were strong repressions from the police, from the state, but even in several regions, there were some demonstrators who were shot dead by the police, but it didn't stop the students from protesting. Yeah, I think this case is it's just showing that how undemocratic the educational institutions is when it comes to the things that the state or the university doesn't agree with. They could, basically stop us from doing that. Yeah, it just shows that how the education is served to protect the thing that the industry needs. Because when we are talking about the laws, the omnibus laws in 2019, there's like so many, there's a lot of research done by the like NGOs, let's say, saying that these laws is actually made for the businesses, the industries. And I think it does make sense. The students took to the street to protest about this law, because at the end of the day, most of students will become the workers as well. Even the Nadim says that, yeah, the students could or should be next leaders, next like entrepreneurs and so on. But when we are all doing businesses, there's no markets, right? Most of us at the end of the day will become workers as well. I think that makes sense. The students need to fight for this issue, because it will also generate issues in the future for their for their work, for their life in the foreseeable future, when they become a labor, for example. This law will uh, deteriorate their rights as well. Yeah, that's what I think. Sorry if it is not that coherent. That's what I think about this issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angga. Others, do you have another opinion? Okay. Hello, Putra.
Yeah, hello.
Okay. So,
I have no idea. Maybe I want to listening firstly. Yeah, I'm sorry.
okay. Okay. Oh, what Jajang?
Okay, thank you. I think about this issue, I think when the students join the demonstration event or things like that, I think it shows that the students aware, and the students care about this country. And then when there are an issue, and then it is not good for something good, they will be do the how to say, to back again. I think when the students joining the demonstration, I think it because are they aware and they care about this country. So I think when the university suppress the demonstrations for the students, I think it's I don't know. Okay, maybe, I don't really have a good opinion for this, but yeah, maybe my statement is it shows the students aware and care about this country when they do demonstration if there are an issue, like like what brother Angga's opinion, when there are omnibus law, and then that issue, it isn't really that good for this country, for the future and things like that, so they do the demonstration. It isn't really that relevant, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Jajang. Yeah, Jajang said that because students didn't agree with what the government, what is it, say. Okay, Tom, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Firstly, I just joined the session, so I can't connected the previous discussion. Just try to give my comment regarding the statement retracing the state effort to suppress demonstration, and I believe it's really normal. That looks like habit from the government, right? They have intention to manage the country situation and the political environment in the nation. So that's why our government always have intention to manage everything. It's to manage everything, especially for economic or political situation, still able to under control. So that's why when especially regarding this statement is mahasiswa, right? Yeah, demonstration. I call this like street demonstration, right? If the street demonstration occur, it's looks like difficult to manage, right? Because once the demonstrant on board to the street, and then they cannot manage people that's join with them, so it's more terrible. For example, firstly they have like specific participant, demonstrant, specific demonstrant coming from the university, yeah, campus and so on and so on. So once they join with the people or with the another citizen in street, so it's like suspicious participant. Sometimes they always like, how to say it in English, disusupi, right? How to say disusupi, yeah. You will find spionage, something, yeah, I don't know where is the people coming from. So that's why our mindset infiltrate. Thank you, Mr. Angga. They always infiltrate with someone, and we don't know where they are coming from, and they like make the situation more difficult to handle by the official, by police, or by the coordinator, demonstrant coordinator. So that's why in our mind, we always have like a mindset that's demonstration, street demonstration, it's become worse, because in Indonesia, usually if people doing the street demonstration, we can guess the end story. Yeah, so we can assume it should be like bentrokan, like something like that. That's the first. So that's why government always have intention to manage all of the demonstration, right? And yeah, so that's why government not prefer, if yeah, not likely happy if the organization or people organization, campus, or etc. to conduct the demonstration. And the second one, because the channel of, how to say, the channel of suggestion from the legislation, it's not good enough, right? The legislative, how to say, MPR, DPR is not good enough to capture the voice of the people, voice from the citizen. They just capture the voice that make they have like it's related with the agenda. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. So that's why people decided to we go to the street. And I ever join it in the demonstration as well in the street, and I feel excited at that moment, right? Even though I don't know how about the main agenda. So if I was joining with the people, and then I feel the circumstances, and I feel the exposure, I feel the spirit of them, I feel excited, and so that's why I feel demonstration is still good to deliver the message, and uh how to say, to enforce the government, to hear your voice, something like that. Especially nowadays we have good of the publication if we conduct the street demonstration. So that's why in my mind, street demonstration is still good enough to like how to say, to give the first impression to government. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Now Angga.
Maybe Putra can go first.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. I just remember when I was student and I was college in campus, and yeah, I am the part of the demonstrator. Um, it is it. I just think about ministry, or the maybe the rule is come from the worries from every lecture or every student affairs, yeah, which is the rule is contradiction with constitution, which is the constitution is a guarantee for all of people of Indonesia to show up all of idea. Okay, but okay, I think this only about the worries from the ministry or the student affairs, which are show the rule. Is it okay? I mean, because we need to look back to the rule of the demonstration, especially for student or college demonstration. Okay, because when I was student in a demonstration, we have to submit the all of idea, the all of agenda in demonstration, and we also report and permit the police station, student affairs, government, and all of stakeholder, which is they are will give a protection to all demonstrators. So many Indonesia in demonstration is got like an intruder, penyusup. So in a rule in the demonstration of the student, and then the intruder come, and the demonstration getting the commotion. I think this worries, but actually I believe this rule is not totally block the all of students to do demonstration, because I believe the all of student affairs or ministry or government is also guarantee our freedom to show up our idea. And I believe also if we have the good idea, if we follow the regulation to do demonstration preparation, and then we have to report and we have to permit to the all of a stakeholder like a government or police station and so on and so on. I believe all of the government or student aware will give the permission to do demonstration. So I think we need to change this rule. It's like a limitation, or it is only or this rule is having the term and condition, and we have to open the term and condition about this rule. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Putra. Yes, please, Angga.
Thank you for the opportunity. I don't know, there's like so many scattered ideas that I want to say, but I think yeah, the previous speakers just said very interesting points for me. When we are talking about these laws and the students' movement in 2019, I think, yeah, I'm trying to find the causality of this issue. You know, when there's a cause, there is action, right? So yeah, obviously the cause of this movement is the law, the omnibus law itself, where, yeah, as I remember, it was very bad for the future students, for the workers. You can imagine how you can be outsourced for the entire life. So you can't have like a fixed job when you're working. So you can be fired anytime. That's why workers and supported by students were fighting against this law in 2019. And when we are talking about students movement, yeah, I do agree with what Putra said before. When before doing this, we need to prepare, we need to discuss, we need to like campaign, we need to share the awareness of the people regarding what we are doing and what we will do, okay, in the future after this happens. And that's important. Why students took to the street? Because, you know, from other groups of people in our society, students are a group that, ideally and consistently learn the theories, learn the knowledge, learn new information, and so on. So when there's like an issue, they quickly will be aware of it, right? Because they're the one who's studying. But this is interesting as well when we are talking about demonstrations, when we are talking about fighting against the laws or the governments. The schools or the university doesn't teach you this, right? You're not taught to be against university. They teach us to be obedient, to be like thoughtful to what we've said, what we are going to do. Yeah, I think it emphasizes the importance of studying in the organizations as well, in which you can learn and discuss things that the class doesn't teach you, doesn't educate you. So when we are trying to be critical, so we need to study, we need to learn it outside. Yeah, that's kind of like pathetic at the same time. Yeah, what else I am trying to say? Yeah, I think I leave it there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angga. So yeah, how about others? Do you agree that? Oh yeah, please, Jajang.
Yeah, okay, thank you for the opportunity. So I was remember when I am remember was when I was a student. I am the one. I am one of the people. I am one of the students that never go for the demonstrants. But actually, our campus like has like campus perjuangan and things like that. And then like all the students have ever experienced it, just like what Mr. Tom said, turun ke jalan like that. But I am one of the students that never go for the demonstrations. So when there was demonstrations, there is no students again. There was no students on the at the class, and then, like me and just proud students, but the lecturer also support the students for it, and we don't have a class at that day. Okay, but okay, my opinion about this. When I okay, this is about Mr. Tom's opinion. So I think he he explained it about political needs, and then I heard about infiltrated by suspicious demonstrants, intruder, and then the ability of a home of representatives. I think this demonstration issue, this is about more about political things. So there is no what's that freedom to learn, freedom to learn. I think this is not about freedom to learn, but about political things, more. Could you understand what I mean? Like, this is about more about political things than about education things. And then also brother Angga's opinion, I think, yeah, because the students is a group that we learn about theory, and then also we also see the theory and practice, yeah. I'm sorry, I mean, yeah, okay, in the in conclusion, I think this is more about political things and not about education things. I'm sorry. Thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Jaja. Sophie, please.
Thank you, Miss, for another opportunity. I was enjoying hearing all the Mr. Angga and Mr. Tommy, Mr. Putra, until Jajang speak about his experience. I kinda triggered to speak mine also, because I was one of the demonstrant in September 2019. And yeah, it's true that our campus has been what is that? What is the English of Ancam? I forget.
Right.
Oh my God, I forget. Yeah, do this kind of thing that if you involve in this kind of demonstration, means that you're not disciplined enough as a student in this campus, or maybe for more brutal, that they would like to degrade our grade. And if we do something more, that they will tell us to, it could be like there's a lot of possibilities that could happen to us, like maybe drop out, or you could not attend a particular classes that the lecturer feel that classes completely against this kind of situation. And also we face that the oh my God, please tell me what is the English of ancam. I completely forget that. What is
Threat.
that? Trade, yeah. Is that right? A
Intimidate.
threat, intimidate.
Intimidate,
Okay.
so intimidate.
Also, coming from the friends, the classmate, that they feel in their perspective that we are brutal, that we're such a troublemaker, that don't want to follow the rules of the government, don't want to be the good students. Sometimes I'm questioning myself, like, am I being brutal by this, by involving this demonstration, or am I being aware person? Like, did I do some contribution here, or am I just do something completely useless by wasting my time and energy? Because of course we skipped some classes by joining this. This demonstration has been held for like 3 days in a row, and we skipped some classes instead. But what I think, when I see the bigger picture, that if we're just being brutal, if there's so many spy, like Mr. Tom said, why there are like 1,000 people coming on the street? Like, of course, these thousands people coming from the same problem, the same what is that, tujuan, aim, that they what is so wrong about this government until these 7,000 people, especially in Samarinda, would like to coming from the street as a protester because they're so angry about the rules that has been declared by the government. If there's only like 10 people, or few, or less than 10 people, maybe we're just like some kids that are having no other activities to do. But this is like 7,000 people coming from demanding the same point to the government, that this is not okay anymore. This is already like out of this is beyond your obligation. Like, this is too much for us. That's why we couldn't having a good talk anymore. We should coming from the street and then look so angry. And I'm really interested. I'm really interested to hear other perspective, because I think the people who coming from the street, and then the people who decided to not joining these demonstrations, are completely have a strong beliefs by their own opinions. Like, we have our own idealism, we have our own reason why we chose to do or not to do this. So that's why this is, I think this is very interesting to hear from others' opinion. I think that's it from me, Miss. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sophie. Anyone? Okay, so, oh yes, please, Angga.
Yeah, on the demonstrations, I think it's worth talking about it more, in my opinion, because this issue is kind of controversial to do by some of the people still in Indonesia. But first of all, let's talk about the change. In my opinion, the real change comes from the society, comes the people's power. When we're looking at the history, like the Reformasi, for example, the downfall of the old regimes, it was conducted and forced by the people. And when we're talking about the wages, in the past, the workers' wages, generally around, I mean, not wages, like time, time to work. It's now 8 hours, but in the past it was like 10 hours. So workers were forced to work more than 8 hours, which was about like 10 to 12 hours to work. And now from 12 to 8, it was also forced from the people's movement. And what else? When we're talking about the Indonesian history, like the history of holiday allowance, holiday payments, like tunjangan hari raya, So yeah, it's also achieved by the struggles from the unions in the past, like around 50s. And yeah, there's a lot of like real changes in the world created by the masses. So when we were talking about it, I think I reckon that the social movements are crucial here to implement. It's really positive in my view. I agree with what Mr. Mr. Tom said before. So when we are turning to the street, we will feel, energetic. We'll feel like strong because our ideas, our concerns are, united and expressed in a particular way. And in the demonstration, the racist ideas, like sexist ideas, tend to diminish as well because basically we're trying to push the positive things that we want to achieve. So the negative ideas will be inclined to diminish in this kind of situations. Even here in Australia, the students, like high school students, or high school students also turn to the streets, and it's normal here. Like last month, I was joining them, and most of them were students and still, in the early age, but they still could like turn to the streets to voice something regarding climate change. Yeah, it's very common, and it's still positive to raise the awareness, they said. And why is it, in Indonesia, the demonstrations are still kind of controversial? Even when I'm turning to the street, like coming to the street, like joining the protesters, my parents, to be exact, often say that, oh, you you're gonna become a rioter or something. You wanna do like riots or, something bad to the society, stop people from working and so on. I think it makes sense when we're looking at the history of, the authoritarian regime, like Suharto in the past. Our parents, to be exact, they lived 22 years under a regime that said that demonstrating are bad, like demonstrating are being, it's harmful for the people. That's why it makes sense for me why it is still negative, especially for the old generations, because they used to live under very strict rules that didn't allow them to, speak their voice, speak up. But in general, I think this is really positive to do, and I encourage people, if they do see something happening, like demonstrating, you need to ask what's happening instead of, seeing this from like untrusted sources. Yeah, that's what I think. I leave it there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angga. Yeah, so move to the next questions. What do you think is the purpose of the formal education you are currently or have received? Anyone who wants to answer? Raise your hand. Maybe who's here? Miss Elita? Oh, Sunshine, okay. Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you. I believe that the formal education want us to penetrate more formal situation in the more challenging circumstance that would link between education and industrialization or working space. Because even though it doesn't mean that having higher education's diploma would ensure our capacity to become a director, but it would at least enlarge the probability of us being ones, right? So I can say that the purpose of formal education is not only limited to increase the probability of having a better welfare of life, but also to become better in energy efficiency. I believe that energy efficiency is really matter because without educations, many people tend to have manual approach, which can be considered taking much longer time than it should be without education, without proper guide given by the practitioner or academies. And that's why the purpose of formal educations, even though it would to some extent to respond the needs or the demands of industry, but I guess it's more or beyond that industry, because this theoretical framework is still should not be limited to only that point. It should be more beyond that, and still somehow controversial whether we need to cultivate our knowledge for the sake of fulfilling the demands of industry. I think that's my comment.
Okay, thank you, Sunshine. Anyone else? Okay, if it is not, okay, please, Tom first.
Okay, in my opinion, even though I'm not in the formal education at the moment, I just thinking about the purpose for the formal education is, especially if we're talking about the college student. So yeah, of course, the basic purpose for the formal education is become an agent of change for yourself, for your country, for your family, for your society, and so on and so on. Your title is just a title in the paper. You are an engineer, you are a doctor, you are a psychologist, you are a lawyer, and so on and so on. It's just your title, but the basic idea and the basic purpose for the formal education is you need to become an agent of change your life, change your mind, change your thinking structure, change your money, of course, and so on and so on. So refer to the purpose coming from my opinion, yeah, and then try to correlate with what we discussed previously regarding the demonstration. As long as you believe you down to street demonstration at street is necessarily to do, just do it and manage it well, and try to deliver your message clearly, not ambigu, or have ensure your message is able to capture with government. So that's my opinion. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, now I give it to Miss Elita.
Okay, thank you. I comment about the previous question about demonstration. Actually, during my education in bachelor degree, I really mengalami apa sih? I really saw experience the 1998 demonstration in front of my campus in Salemba. So that time, I was in the 5th years. So I have to just go to the campus and doing all my patients. So my lecturer said that we can go there, go to and join the demonstration, because for them we are the almost graduated person. So if they who said before that in Indonesia demonstration still thought that it will be very dangerous and maybe we can threatening our life. So at that time, the lecturer said about you almost graduated, so it will be very hard for the campus or for your parents if you dead in the street. So that's why we keep it's maybe that's the situation. The situation. So even I saw the very historical situation. I enjoy that. But I think the point of the campus didn't want to lose their almost graduated students. It's still very needed in our country. We know that our country, the need of doctors and the need of the population, the Indonesian population, it's very high. So it's very important to because my education is really try to fulfill the need of mental of healthcare. I think that's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Elita. Putra?
Yeah, thank you. I have a simple purpose of the formal education is make the people knowledgeable and sharing what is the nationality. Okay, and then the formal education is always teach about soft skill, which such as discipline, tolerance, and the others. And then the formal education also teach the hard skill like mention schools and the other schools. Okay, but the simple means of in my brain is formal education is having purpose of more of the teach about the nationality and all about knowledge for accessories, because formal education is always we find all of the peoples or nationality, and yeah, I believe the formal schools is important for the all people of Indonesia because we need to learn about country, about the government, about the rule, about constitution. So it is having a connectivity to the all of the tragedy of demonstration because in my school is always discussing about this knowledge about our regulation or constitution. Yeah, I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Putra. Yeah, so let's where is it? Move to the next questions. Yeah, who do you think benefit from the formal education you are currently or have received? Anyone? How about Henny maybe?
Okay, thank you, Miss. I get confused with your question. Who benefits from the formal education you are currently or have received? It is, I mean that the formal education we get or we have completed the formal education and who support for our formal education, or after we completed our degree and it is useful for everyone. I get confused to answer. The person who support for our formal education or the benefit or the goal after we completed our degree. Hello, Miss, can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Okay.
Mhm.
Anyone you think who would get the benefit?
Okay. Firstly, of course, my parents, who support, the biggest sponsor, in my whole life, because my parents support me as a sponsor to complete my degree or to complete the title, from I was in primary, secondary, and tertiary, or in university level. Of course, that's the biggest support or the biggest sponsor. And for the benefit of formal education that I had completed, of course, it's very useful for the others, because after I completed my degree, it is very useful that the knowledge that I got from my university, for example, you are as a teacher or you are as a doctor, uh, you have to share your knowledge, or you have to teach your knowledge to the others without without a reward from the other person, that you just give it willingly, your knowledge. And what is that yeah, as a human, after we have completed our degree, of course we have to teach, yeah, our environment, our people surround us, like our student, or the what is that, we just like to support our government um, to give the best education, to our people surround us. I think that's it. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss Henny. Yes, please, Putra. Putra.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, the worst people who get benefits is the student itself. Firstly, the student itself will get benefit from the formal education, and then the people around you or around the student, it will get the benefit, especially for the country, because the country will have the people or students who have the education about the all of the knowledge, especially for like rule, constitution, or anything education. But the most important is the worst people who get benefit, it's student itself. Yeah, just it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please, Jajang.
Okay, thank you. I will go to the first questions about the purpose of the formal education. I think for the purpose of the formal educations is to prepare the students' futures. People, no, some people ask me these questions like, why you have to memorize the chemistry table, why you have to memorize the formula of math, and then like why you have to memorize the law or the theory or things like that. You don't use it in the real life, you don't use it at work, like you don't use at all, you use that all. Yes, I think we don't use it all in our real life and our work at work, but I think the curriculum, the education, the material, the education system, I think it train our brain to solve the real problem, like to shapes our mind, to set up the mindset and things like that. So the conclusion, the purpose is to prepare the students' future. And then who gets the benefit of the formal educations? I think the first one is the students itself, myself as the students. And then the second one, my parents, because I have amanah from them to go for a study and things like that. And then also the benefit is for the people around me, because I can share my thoughts, and then I can like help them about about many things that related to something that I got from the college, from the class. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jaja. Yeah, formal education is closely related to what is seen by the state as good, right, and ideal. Through education, the state not only instills but also strengthens its ideological values for the current and future generation. So nothing is new and nothing is free from free learning. Okay, because we have limited time, I'll just throw all the questions directly. Both of them, are there individuals who are most easily left behind in their education process than others? What do you think of that, guys? And do you think there is a connection between a person's level of well-being and the education he or she receives? Anyone, please raise your hand. How about Sophie?
Yes, Miss. The first question, I think yes, I totally feel that because I've experienced that almost in my entire education process. I always need to be understood. I need to like twice or third to open the book or the material. So that is why sometimes I being not excuse, but I feel like that is the reason why I become a huge procrastinator. And sometimes I give up on some of the uh, lesson, like I give up on math, I give up on science. I'm just gonna learn English and psychology. That's all. Like I don't really care about others lesson. But that's my personal experience. But for the second questions, I think yes, there is a connection between a person level of well-being and the education he or receives, because the surrounding that surrounded to them, it will affect the way they're thinking, their principle of life, the way they see the world itself. It will the backgrounds of our friends and the place that we have raised, it will completely will be affected the way of our thinking. So I agree with the second question. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Sophie. Miss Elita?
I want to comment about the first question. Are there individuals who are more easily left behind in their education process than others? Of course, first is the poor person. The individual person will, I think it's really, because they're poor, maybe their lack of nutrition in the beginning of their lives. So it will decrease their ability to to get more brain development. So in the future, it's like a stunting person. If in the 1,000 days of their early life in their mother's womb, and then after 2 years after they have birth, it will really affect their ability to learn. It in the study we can see that the level of some kind of neurotropin in their brain is really low. Then in the future they will be gain obese and never get education fulfilled. That's because they're unable to reach their apa sih kemampuan maksimal mereka dalam secara fisik gitu. I think that's the most so the poverty is very strong hambatan. Okay, I think I want to comment just that. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, Jaja.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I am totally agree. Oh, sorry, for the first questions, I am totally agree with Miss Elita's opinion that economic level, maybe low economic level will be was that like most likely will be easily to left behind in education process. And then for the second questions, yes, there is a connections between a person's level of well-being and the educations that someone receives, because they get different opportunities, they get different informations, and then yeah, things like that. So there is a connections between yeah, person's level of well-being and educations. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jaja. So yeah, Gibson said that states that although in general we understand who has and does not have power in our society, however, this power is obtained and distributed or is still very rarely studied and taught in education. The teaching process should not only run in one direction, where students are seen as empty containers, which are then filled with knowledge by educators and thus make students passive objects. Okay. I guess I might will give these two questions to as a last questions. Should education have a goal of social change towards social justice? And do you think that the education you are currently or have received is useful for a change and social justice in our society? For the last question, anyone? Maybe Victory?
Yes, Miss. Which one, Miss?
Maybe the first question.
Yeah, every education actually has the goal about social, yeah. Like from our national Indonesian curriculum, the government design about the social competence, social skill, life skill, and everything. Toward the social justice, yeah, it should be redesigned again. What is it suitable social justice for every area, because it's different in countryside, in rural side, and then in province level seems like a metropolitan area, and then like capital city. So to implement a very solid curriculum, it's really hard, because it seems like using situational analysis, need analysis, task analysis, implementation analysis, and seems like need a lot of periods, so actually, yeah, having a goal of social change, but about pure social justice, as long as I know that governments do not aim to that social justice, but about the social skill, yes, it means that from kindergarten and then primary and then elementary until high school, that the point is why KBK curriculum would be changed into the curriculum 13, and then will be revised into emancipated curriculum. Emancipated curriculum is curriculum Merdeka, because the social life skill seems lost at that time. So the government redesigned again to the emancipated curriculum. So it needs like what I say, situational analysis, need analysis, task analysis, implementation analysis, and needs period. Yeah. And about what, and the second question, do you think that the education you are currently or have received is useful for a change that social justice in our society? Of course, but in what kinds of social justice? It seems like what kinds of social target our government need should be. Why Australian government just teach just teach kids, just teach all the students about how to queue up, not about to master of math. From kids, Australian government just teach about how to queue up well, and then about Singaporean education government how to teach the kids queue up well. Because in queuing up well, students are taught about how to imagine something well, how to sit, how to stand up. I mean, neatly, tidy up, and by queuing up, really a lot of imaginary of thinking coming to be well, to be seems like, yeah, well prepared, seems like that. So I just like to say about change of social life skill. Yes, about social justice, yeah, it needs, seems like what criteria, because Indonesia really plural, yeah, really plural. So really just much thinking about how to socialize about social justice, like you say here. Maybe you cannot get what I mean, but I really know, I really understand what I'm telling or saying, because here is, I'm still learning about this one curriculum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Others, maybe you want to add something? Maybe I'll give it to, how about Sunshine? Okay. How about Miss Henny Marina?
Okay, thank you, Miss. Okay, I'll try to answer question number 1. Should education have a goal of social change towards social justice? It is based on Pancasila, 5 pillars of Indonesian principles. Point 5, where social justice for all Indonesian. So it means that, yeah, of course, education have a goal for a social change. Through education, we can change our environment. We can change people surround us, where we can share our knowledge, or we can give kind of knowledge of a lot of knowledge that we have got from our school or from our university. Then we can share to people or our environment related to our education that we have. And number 2, do you think that the education you are currently or have received is useful for a change and social justice? Yes, of course. Through education, we can change. As I remember, it's a good phrase that I have read. Never ask what your country give to you, but ask what you have given to your country. So means that we never ask to our government, to our country, what they have given to us, but we have to give something to our city, to our country. Like we can give a free education to people or students around us that who really need help, our support or our help to teach them. Yeah, we can give like teaching them freely, or we share our opinion, we share our lesson to them that we are master to. So I think it's a small thing that we can give to our country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Henny. Um, okay, Putra, please.
Yeah, thank you. Just for a little bit from me. Yeah, it should have the goal of social change and also social justice. And I believe in our curriculum right now, it's having and always containing about these things. Okay, because special for the student, the education will give your perspective firstly about the social, about the others knowledge, and the second is in my education I've received, it's also teach me about the freedom, about the rule of Indonesia, about the rule of society, about the culture, behavior, and so many others knowledge. And I realized about this knowledge. For example, I ever done the demonstration and protest to the government about like a policy or anything. It is like proof evidence that I am the understood about rule of government like that. So this knowledge which is I received when I was school, when I was in senior high school at a campus. So yeah, I think I believe also every curriculum in Indonesia is containing about this school. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Putra. Now for I guess with for the last, Jajang, please deliver it quickly.
Okay, thank
You
you
say,
for
okay.
the opportunity. So for the first questions, I am totally agree with Miss Hanny's opinion that yeah, it should based on our constitutions, the fourth paragraph that Indonesia has to provide the education for the nations, and then also follow the was that the role of word, how to say, ketertiban dunia, like that. And then for the second questions, yeah, I think so. Every field in education has its own role. For example, me, myself, I am from the accounting, so we are talking about the financial report, we are talking about the transparency and accountability, and then we make sure the financial report of institution follow the guidance that in Indonesia we called it by PSAK and things like that. And I am sure another field doesn't talk about that. So it's our role. Every field in education has its own role. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jaja. So yeah, we come to the end. So educational ideal, whether the man is educated to teach or to plow land, to lift or to write, must not be allowed to sink into shallow utilitarianism. Education must maintain its birth ideals and never forget that education is concerned with souls and with dollars, says the psychologist Boyce. I guess that's the end of our discussion today. And yes, thank you. I'll give it back to Angga.
Well, thank you very much, Nuna, for sharing our discussions and everyone for sharing your thoughts on this topic. What a very engaging and exciting issue to discuss tonight. Very nice. Before we end, as always, I've written a couple of feedback there because we're also studying English, learning English here. So on the chat box, some people miss their words when speaking, but it's okay. It's normal as non-English speakers talking about difficult things. It's normal to forget some words when speaking, like menyusup. Okay, I've said I've written that, like infiltrate, disusupi, infiltrated, because this is a passive word, so you should put ed at the end of the word. Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat, yeah, we call it House of Representatives. In Australia, they call it parliaments here, or legislative assembly. Penyusup, intruder, mata-mata. Okay, this is a common issue where some people from police, being in the middle of the protesters. So we call them spy. And it can also be a verb, kata kerja, memata-matai atau mengintai. Mengancam tadi ya, ada yang kelupaan, intimidate atau threaten. Mengalami, experience. Biasanya banyak yang ngomongnya experience ya, tapi biasanya yang awalnya E itu diucapkannya I, bukan E. Jadi instead of experience. Kemudian tadi Miss Ellie ya, tadi ada yang menarik tuh ya, kata-kata phrase yang lumayan spesifik. Maximum physical development, perkembangan fisik maksimum. Kemudian hambatan, obstacles. And then how to say ketertiban dunia ya. I might say global stability. I don't know what people thinks of that. All right, yeah, I think that's all for me. I'll share the feedback to the group as always. Before we end, okay, as usual, it's time for us to take some good photos. So everyone, can you guys share your videos and show us your handsome and beautiful faces there? Thanks, Putra, Sophie, Jajang, Rizky, Ares, Sunshine, Henny. Would you mind sharing your video, share your photo, Jajang, Sophie? We are waiting for you guys. Are you there? Rizky? Oh, okay. All right. I think they don't want to take pictures together. Okay, that's okay. At least they have their name here. So